Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk a little bit about wheelchair defense. Now, I want to explain this a little bit because I know a lot of you people think that I get a little bit too far off on some things. Kind of like when I said I wanted to use the tomahawk against 20 people with machetes, you know, stuff like that sounds kind of crazy. But like I say, there's times, like I say, the Union thugs, 10 had machetes. So I might do overkill on my preparedness when it comes to physical violence. But in my world, if you underestimate, you will die or you will hurt severely. So the idea is to overshoot your planning. Now, when it comes to a wheelchair, definitely you got to get the Marine in you, definitely. And the Marine is be polite, act professional, and have a plan to kill everyone around you. And if I know there's plenty of videos out here and people saying, well, yeah, you can use your hands to defend yourself, stuff like that. Yes, I'm sure there's probably occasions that you can, but I kind of look at the wheelchair defense kind of like the old man defense. In other words, as an old man, I can't take on a prolonged fight of any type. In other words, any physical fight where we're going to use hands is going to be very short. And one thing I've noticed too, since I'm an old man, I haven't really noticed only one or two muggers or threats and stuff like that. I still get lots of threats. They still come at me as a bunch. So in other words, I'm thinking the same thing if I was in a wheelchair. And in other words, okay, in a wheelchair, you need a firearm. Say no, I don't care, don't do it. But the reality is, at least you're not carrying it like me. I gotta carry mine around with me. You don't have to. You got your cushion. It's not hard on your back cushion to put a little slot in the cushion itself, where you can stick your hand into the slot and pull out your hammerless Smith & Wesson 38. I told you that's one of the main firearms everybody should have, and this is a good reason. Right here, it's behind your cushion. It's going to get lint on it. It's going to get nasty, dirty. It'll always work. The revolver will always work. You can go on, same thing, you can put a little bag, hook it to the armchair, and put the bag on the inside there, and then stick your hammerless 38 inside of that. Now you can just reach inside the bag and point your bag at the threat. You don't need to take it out, just point it. And then like I say, if the threat does turn into a real threat, then you just pull the trigger. No big deal. And it's small, even the air weight, it's lightweight, and it's something that can be in your chair or with your chair all the time. Okay, and you might even be able to put it under the cushion that you're sitting on. It's the same thing. I'm not wheelchair bound, so I don't really know all the little knit and tuck places there are in your wheelchair to stick these things. But you need to have one, and then you'll know the size and the weight, and you'll be able to stick it someplace where you can get to it. It won't go off accidentally. You really have to pull the trigger. And don't think it's too hard to pull the trigger, because I guarantee when you're scared enough, you will pull the trigger. And you don't need to worry about it pulling the trigger until they're maybe 4 foot, maybe 6 foot away at the maximum, 6 foot. They're not much of a threat. They're further than 6 foot away. And so that's why the hammerless 38, 5-shot, that's plenty enough to keep the boogeyman away. Okay, the other thing is AK-47. I talked about that. The AK-47 and the Smith & Wesson 38 are the two firearms everyone should have. And it's because they're both perfect for what they do. And that's to keep the boogeyman away for close range with the 38 and at the long range with the AK. In other words, home defense. You can use it, you can just lay it across your lap. You can put a strap on it if you want, so it'll stay on you when you're in your chair. You can just wheel it around, just take your time. There's no reason, when you have an AK-47, especially for home defense, there's no reason to, how do you say it, try to get away. There's no place to get away. This is your home. So wherever you're at is the place you should hold that area. That AK-47 definitely will hold the area. Now for mine, my AK, for home defense, I got about the first 3 or 4 rounds are plastic bullets. So they'll go through sheetrock, but after that, that's pretty much about all they'll do. And so in other words, it's what I can see. Now after 3 or 4 shots, then we get into the real AK ammunition. And now it'll start penetrating and start going through stuff. And the way I look at it, if first 3 or 4 shots isn't enough warning to tell you to get the hell out of my house, well then whatever happens after that happens. So, but anyway, so there is things you can do even in a wheelchair. Now, I don't know if I would go with a knife. Normally, I don't have anything for the electronic stuff, you know, beep, beep, or bzz, bzz, this kind of thing, you know, you push the button and it sizzles, it electrocutes people. Normally, I've got no desire for something like that. But I would have to reconsider it if I was wheelchair bound. And that'll be kind of like my last resort. That'll be on my weak side, my weak hand. I would have that electric charger, electric stimulator kind of thing. And the reason is, if the gun didn't keep you away, if you're going to get that close to me, then I'm gonna juice you up. And seeing that you're in the chair, you're limited on the moves you can do. So I wouldn't bring the electric thing out and bzz, 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 you know, try to scare people off with it. Now, like I say, it's my weak hand thing. If you get your hands on me, you're holding me, you're grabbing me in any way at all, I'm gonna use my weak hand. But my right hand, the shooting didn't stop you. So I want to get the left hand, my weak hand, and I want to put the juice to you. So that might be the thing. Normally I don't like the electric juicer things because it can be used on me. But in the wheelchair case, I don't know, but that doesn't seem like near the threat. Because like I say, you can't run, so good. Well, it's going to end right here, one way or the other. So that's the way I look at it. Now, like I say, I use a knife, but like I say, I can move around. So, and that's why I wouldn't use a knife while I'm in a wheelchair, because I don't want them using it against me. And like I say, I'm not talking about one person. There's many things you can do. I'm talking about, you know, like I say, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10. You know, what are you going to do against that? That's what I'm talking about. If it's just one, normally I say 1 or 2, but 1 in the wheelchair case, like I say, the 38, definitely for sure. The electric thing, that's for sure. it'll go for one. And but like I say, so there are things you can do, and don't be bashful about trying different ideas on where to put your stuff, your weapons. And in your house, it'd be the same thing. Have them in places where you can get to it. I wouldn't worry. Now the Smith & Wesson revolver, you don't want kids to mess with that. The AK-47, you have to use some effort to pull the bolt back. First, the magazine needs to be in the gun. Then you pull the bolt back, and then after that, you're ready to go. So a small child won't know how to do it. And you should, if the children are any bigger than that, somebody should have taken them out and did some shooting with them already. So when they get up, I don't know, 6, 8 years old, they ought to know what guns are. Now, they might be able to pull the bolt back, maybe, but they should be smart enough to, leave your weapon alone. So, but anyway, these are just some ideas. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.